Thank you. Okay, perfect. I'm the North America Data Warehousing Sales Leader. So I know you're all thinking, great, another sales guy. So let me qualify myself a little bit. I think I'm in a pretty unique position. Luckily, I get to travel all the time, luckily and unluckily. I'm based out of Portland, Maine. Any Mainers, by the way? None. Okay, you won't see the secret handshake we have then. But yeah. So I get to travel all the time. Coming out of Portland, that's kind of is not so great because I get to connect. But I am in with clients all the time, and we're talking all the time about analytics. We're talking about data, talking about data science, and we're talking about how you govern that data. So before you dismiss me as just another sales guy, I just want to make it clear that I'm kind of taking the pulse of the marketplace, and so hopefully I can provide a little bit of insight and context. And Hadley, great presentation. I'm going to mention a couple of the same things, so maybe that'll make me even a little bit more credible. So I'm going to talk about three main themes that I see out in the marketplace, and we'll talk a little bit about our framework. Now, I'm not going to say a single IBM product name today. Now, if you guys say them, that's fine. So like the sequel to the famous DB1. Oh, you said it. Thank you. I didn't say it. That wasn't me. Yeah, so it's great to know that I think, again, I'm not going to say any product names. I just want to make myself very credible. So IDC, in a report called Seagate, The Data Age, says that data will see a 30% compound annual growth rate year over year through 2025. Now, this report is from last year. Now, think about what that means to you. If someone were to say, well, how you run your business, right? The data you need to create value in your business will grow 30% year over year. You're going to say, great, right? Awesome. I love that I have more data to provide more value to my internal clients and to my external clients, right? Maybe I can make some more profit off of that. But I think that all the people in the room here are on the other side of the house, and they're saying, great, my grocery bill is going up 30%. Not interested, right? And I wouldn't really be either. So you've got to think about how you're going to deal with, over the next 7 years, 30% annual CAGR on data. And let's just, to put that in a little bit more context, in 2015, 16 zettabytes of data were created. And I saw zettabytes on your slides too, so I'm just going to keep calling back to Hadley. In 2025, over 160 zettabytes of data will be created. Now, what kind of data is being created? It's a lot of media, obviously. We live in the media age. But there's also things such as edge computing, IoT, for example. I was just looking at air conditioners, and there are Wi-Fi air conditioners, if you can believe that. There are connected devices such as toasters, which I would never buy, but there are Wi-Fi connected toasters. And all this data is becoming even more critical to users. So IDC says that moving a greater proportion of data, up to 20% of data, will become critical to businesses. This is, again, a greater proportion. And then we're talking a lot about cognitive and AI. Cognitive systems themselves create all kinds of data and metadata. So you've got to be able to store, understand, govern, and analyze that data. So enough about data growth. Let's talk about AI. This is the same McKinsey study, Hadley, so I was very, very pleased that you brought that up as well. So McKinsey says, and I'm focused more on investment, right? Where are people investing? And McKinsey says in that report that where investments are being made are by large technology companies, such as Google, such as Facebook. They call out Baidu in that report, which I thought was interesting. But investments in AI at a corporate level are growing 3x since 2013. Investments, this is the range of $30 to $40 billion by these large tech companies. But as Hadley said, the actual projects, getting them into production, is hard. But we know that we need to integrate AI, and I'm going to refer to AI and cognitive. IBM calls them the same thing right now, but AI and cognitive computing. We need to infuse this into our data. And why do we need to do that? Oh yeah, and by the way, I want to pause. I have a data science joke. I have a machine learning joke. So the data scientist says to the machine learning model, what's 50 plus 50? Machine learning model says it's 114. Data scientist says, no, it's 100. Machine learning model says it's 100. All right, perfect, good. That's a good joke you guys can tell when you're talking about machine learning. But we see at IBM, so IBM says that in a report released last year, citizen data scientists, so people that don't necessarily have the mathematical skills to go in and use TensorFlow or go into RStudio and actually build an R model, they still are going to be demanding access to these kind of technologies. And those roles are growing, IBM says, 5 times that of a traditional data scientist, so those with mathematical skills. So think about what that means. You as providers within your companies need to provide AI capabilities to people who don't necessarily have the skills. And I read an article the other day. I don't know if anyone knows Hadley Wickram, another Hadley. He's the chief data scientist at our studio. And he says that you can't do data science in a GUI. And IBM disagrees. We totally disagree because of what I just talked about. Data science in a GUI, in a graphical user interface, right? So IBM disagrees. We think that there are people who don't have mathematical skills and might not necessarily have the ability to code in R, code in Python, but they still want access to the type of technologies that are out there today providing value. And then finally, my third big theme, and I love talking about this one. This is infrastructure risk to me. So Gartner says there's value in all approaches to the cloud, whether the strategy is pure cloud or not. And I think of it as a gradient or a spectrum. On one side is 100% on-premise, and on the other side is 100% cloud. And I, again, out with customers all the time, and so many customers, this is my turn to roast you guys, I'm sorry, but it's they say, you know, I want to be in the cloud. I want the scalability and the flexibility of the cloud. And then literally 5 minutes later, they say, it's too risky. Don't want it, can't have it, right? You can't have everything. You need to understand where you want to be on that spectrum. It's likely not going to be 100% on-prem. Maybe it will be. It's likely not going to be 100% in the cloud. And you've got to extend that out into the future as well. Think about where you want to be and how you're going to get there. So 3 big themes. Summarized here, pretty big charts. Why do you need a data management strategy? How are you going to deal with exponential growth of data? We talked about that. How are you going to infuse AI or cognitive capabilities into all of your data and provide access to the citizen data scientists or users who don't necessarily have those skills to bring those capabilities to results today? And then how are you going to decide on the right place for your data? Is it the cloud? Is it on-prem? If it's on-prem, is it Hadoop or just simple distributed? Where should your data live? The answer, how do you deal with these things? You need an open, not a closed platform as your backbone. That's the key, and that's what IBM views. Again, no product names, but that's what we view as our core competency, is having an open platform. And from this open platform, think of that as the hub. Right? I was talking to someone about this the other day, yesterday. Think about this as the hub, and then you can use that open platform as your hub, and then you can use spokes out to maybe some closed technologies that you're interested in. Maybe TensorFlow, for example, right? Maybe Spark ML, for example. Oh, we had a transition there that I missed. Again, our strategy, it's not about one or the other. It's not about cloud or on-premise, and likely your strategy shouldn't be either. Again, when we talk about cloud or on-premise, I'm really, really surprised when someone says to me, the corporate edict is to be 100% on cloud. Well, have you thought through all of your data? Where's the right place for your data to live? Is it all on the cloud? It might not be, right? It's not about just traditional, relational, or open source, and I really liked Hadley's big graph there, and on the right was traditional, and on the left was the new stuff, and it went around like this. I thought that was really, really interesting. We live everywhere on that graph. So what are your essential elements? This is your wrap-up. This is your takeaway. I bring this back, and I use it as a general framework for how I'm thinking about hybrid data management. It's about access, providing access for all different types of data, all kinds of different types of analytics, and access to not just the big guys, not just the power users, but to democratize access to the citizen data scientists and the citizen analysts. These roles are growing at a much faster rate than traditional data scientists. It's about flexibility and scalability, and that's key, and that's why you should be thinking about the cloud, right? But it's not all about the cloud. You need to think about where the right home for your data is. And then finally, it's about infusing what we call AI machine learning, cognitive computing, bring it to your data. So that's all I've got. Again, my name is Chris. Keynote, I think I got us back on track. So thank you for your time.